Hello, everybody, and welcome on in. It is another week of prop culture here on Wager Talk. I'm Thomas Viola, and he's Derek Carty, and we are back because it is, as always, the best time of week. It's Carty o'clock here for week 8, Derek. Very excited. I mean, wow, we are halfway through the season, and I know I say this every week, and it's just going to be the recurring bit. This season just flies by, man.
It really does. I don't know how we're halfway already. It feels like it just started.
Yeah, it's a blink and you miss it kind of thing. I mean, here we are. We're a week really at that halfway point now that we have that weird week 17 and it's no longer an even split. But hey, we are here to make some more money, just like we did last week. 9-5 on the show, up 6.7 units, brings us to 50-40 already on the season. A whopping 90 plays so far. 18.7 units to the good, 19.7% ROI. I mean, we know that our audience has been happy here because everybody is back. Evan is here saying it's Carty o'clock. Andre Sanchez, welcome on in. Best hour of Fridays. Matt Bunzinski is ready to go. Bruh, KGB, and Boglor, your usual suspects. We are all here, and we are ready to have another great day. Derek, I'm excited. How about you?
I am too. Yeah, it's been a great season so far. Coming off a really good week last week. We got another, dozen or so plays for you today. So I'm excited.
I am too. And we've got plenty to talk about. We've got, as you said, about a dozen or so plays to get through for the crew here. And everybody at this point, if you're new to the show, welcome on in for the first time. For those of you that know the drill, you know that you'll be able to drop your plays into the chat, drop what you want us to talk about. We will go through all of them here as we chill with you for the next hour. But of course, we have a bunch of them to get to ourselves that Derek has highlighted for your convenience on the show here today. But before we do that, Derek, my big question for you this week, we have a lot of touchdown favorites. Now, the blitz does take into account when you're building these projections, when the model is running, it's taking into account some of these potential blowout scenarios that we have and how that might affect maybe some guys' passing stats and things like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to account for that. Every week it's going to be different, and the game script is going to determine, to some extent, whether the team is passing or throwing. And so you want to account for that, and the projections do. So that's definitely in there.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, how many times I can't tell you how many times I've just had a guy who was like right there on his number, and then the team's up so big that they're just not passing the football anymore, and you're just like, well, not hitting this one because of that. But it's been great so far for us this season. I've cashed a bunch of really good like last minute. We've gotten lucky on a couple props, but we've been having a great season overall. Like you said, great week last week, and we are back and ready for more. I think we should dive on into it.
Let's do it.
All right. First up for us here on this week's slate, we have Christian Watson. We're going to be going to the Green Bay Packers here and Watson. We're going to be looking at his reception market. We have a bunch of reception props this week. This is the first one up for us. Where are we going on Watson?
We're looking at his under right now. Best line is under 1.5 receptions at plus 105 at MGM, we'll call it. You can see it does fall off there. A lot of the markets minus 125, minus 130. But if you have access to exchanges, Novig is minus 110, which is still totally fine. Pinnacle's minus 111. So if you can get it anywhere in this top range, I like it. Once you start getting down closer to minus 130, I'm probably almost out on that. Watson is coming back from injury. I don't know if he's going to be playing the whole game here. Like, I think he'll probably be playing limited snaps his first game back. Green Bay's a favorite. This game projects as a slow-paced one, so overall volume should be down. And as you can see, with all these down red arrows, the market has been moving this way.
Now, when you're looking at market movement, does it make it a little bit more difficult for you to read, given the fact that you know that the blitz is a key influencer in the market?
Yeah, it is. I try not to put too much stock in it because I know that my projections are moving the market to some extent. On certain types of guys, like star players, if I see the market moving in the direction of the projection, it makes me feel a little more comfortable because the projection will usually be on the under. And we know the public is not going to want to bet the under. So if it's moving to the under anyway, when we know that there's some overaction going on to it, maybe I'll pay a little bit more attention. But overall, market movement implies that prop markets are efficient and they're moving towards efficiency. They're moving towards what the line should be. And ultimately, I don't think prop markets are that efficient. So it's nice to have, it's nice to see it going in your direction, but it's not something that's going to take me off a play that I like if it's moving the other way.
Yeah, I find that I'm much more interested, less so than market movement, but I'm interested in what a couple sharper prop books, because you don't have a book where I can go and look and say, okay, this is my source of truth for props. And so I'm going to top down props. But you look at FanDuel, you look at BetOnline/Prop Builder, like those are typically two indicators where I'm saying, okay, if they're the one out on an island, maybe I don't want this prop.
Yeah, it'll give me I'll think about it a little bit more if I see a book like that, kind of on the other side of what we're doing. But even them, like they take more action, they don't limit as quickly as some other books.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't call them sharp, like truly sharp. So if they have the best line, I'm happy to take it if I really think the play is a good play.
Yeah, it's definitely not like trying to top down sides or totals. It's not enough. There's not enough liquidity in the market for me to be saying, okay, well, I'm going to stay off it because of that. But it does give me a little bit of a pause. That being said, on the flip side, if say I'm liking an under and I'm seeing that FanDuel has the best price on the over, I like that a lot. It's a nice little green light of saying, okay, another reason for me to take this bet at insert book here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's talk about the next guy up here. Christian Watson coming back from injury. Dalton Kincaid has also been a little bit banged up so far the last couple of weeks, and we are looking to his receptions market as well. Is this injury playing a factor here for you?
It is, yeah, a little bit. So we're looking at Kincaid under 3.5 plus 135 at Hard Rock. It's another one where it's kind of all over the place. Once you get down like to even money, you can see the blitz is projecting about 3.5. You're out on it. But if you can get it at like this plus 115 at Caesars area, even the plus 111 at DK is fine. FanDuel's plus 120. So there are other options besides just this Hard Rock number that are good. Another one where it's going to be a pretty slow-paced game. Kincaid is coming back from injury. We don't know exactly what to expect from him. And so you can see the blitz is projecting right around 3.5. So close to a coin flip that if we can get it reasonable plus money, we're gonna take, and we're going to hope for the best on.
Hey, and yeah, I mean, some of these, that's the way we do it. And we talk about it every week on this show. I sound like a broken record, but I'm still going to say it again. If you're going to give me a coin flip at plus 135 odds, I'm going to take that every time because you're going to win those over the long term. And that's what we're looking at here. This is definitely one of the ones I was on earlier this week. I picked this one up already, so I'm happy about that. Next up, we're going to Rico Dowdle. He has been the man so far over the last couple of weeks here for the Panthers. He has unseated our king, Chuba Hubbard. And, well, now Chuba's back, and the Panthers are, of course, messing this up as always and trying to play both of these guys, not just feeding the hot hand in Dowdle. But we could take advantage of that, can't we?
We can, yeah. So we'll look at Dowdle's receptions. Under 1.5 plus 150 is our best line. But you can see pretty much the whole board is 5 stars. So anything you can get, the plus 140, the plus 132 at FanDuel, the plus 125s here are fine. It's a good number here on a guy who, like you said, as good as he was, they're not giving him any real kind of workload. They're splitting the drives between him and Chuba Hubbard. The quotes that came out of Carolina this week made it seem like they're going to continue doing that. And so, he's just a timeshare running back here that we're getting at big plus money on this. Even you look at last week and Chuba Hubbard was out there running a route on, what was the number? 46% of the dropbacks. Rico Dowdle was only out there for 27% of them. Like this is, this, as good as he was, Rico Dowdle is not really being used all that much more than he was prior to Chuba Hubbard's injury.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 fantastic weeks on the ground, but he's not really involved too much in an admittedly already not great Panthers passing attack. Now, how worried are we about the potential quarterback change here? Is Andy Dalton getting the start? I should be more up to date on this injury.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young is officially doubtful, but we're definitely expecting Dalton to make the start here.
Nick Porto asking, any game script worry here against Buffalo?
Yeah, a little bit. We're expecting Carolina to fall behind, but we're kind of always expecting Carolina to fall behind. So yeah. Dalton will have an impact. Obviously, it is a better quarterback than Bryce Young, but also a quarterback that's a little more willing to throw down the field and not check down as much too, if you want to play that narrative game. So ultimately, I'm still going to take it at this number. We're getting, again, a little better than a coin flip here. The Blitz is projecting 1.55, and we're getting it at a really big plus number. So I will just take it. If Dalton is the reason that it loses, that's the reason. But it's good value, I think.
Mm-hmm. Wild Turkey wants to know, what are we going to talk about with Geno on bye? We'll find something. Don't worry.
I'm trying to place Geno bets. The books won't let me.
I mean, this would be the week to cash that under interceptions bet for sure.
Oh, it's a lock.
All right. Next up for us here, we have one more receptions market to go to, and we are going to be going to George Pickens here. And I like this one a lot. I feel like we talked about this last week in the same vein. I played the inverse last week, which did not work out, which is the CD Lamb receptions under. I'm back on that this week, but I'm also kind of hoping that the certain curtain is blanketing CD, and that's how we get to these George Pickens overs.
Yeah, so this is one where I'm going to the alt on it. You can see this Fanatics line. I guess their standard is this 4.5 line at plus money. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the alt at any of these other books, FanDuel was the best one that I saw earlier they had plus 158. So I'm liking the alt. I like the 4.5 more than the 3.5. You can see the 3.5 projects okay. But when you have to lay that heavy juice, it's kind of just decent value and not great value. But the Blitz is projecting close to 5 receptions here for George Pickens. Like you said, there's a chance that they really just try to shut down CeeDee Lamb here and Pickens gets open because of it. One of the upgrades that I made to the Blitz earlier this year was including player tendencies against man and zone shells. And George Pickens historically has been really, really good against man defenses. Denver plays the highest rate of man defense in the league, even though it is a pretty good defense. He's still a guy that has excelled against these types of schemes. Dak is a quarterback that has excelled against these types of schemes. And so I'm looking at Pickens here. The Blitz really likes him. Again, close to 5 receptions. So if you can get the 4.5 at any kind of plus money, you are looking at some good value. I'd be curious, if you guys are looking at alts at different books, what different books have and what the lines you're finding are.
It is really just patently absurd that they traded Michael Parsons this season, because when you look at what this Cowboys offense is this year, I mean, this team kind of has all of the pieces except a marquee pass rusher to be a Super Bowl contending team.
Oh, yeah.
You've got 2 wide receiver ones. Javonte Williams has just been an absolute gem of a running back to pluck off the trash heap. And then you've got Darren Bland and Trayvon Diggs in your corner spots. The defense could actually be relatively solid if they had more success rushing the passer. And here we are.
Yeah. You'd almost think you'd want to be a little bit less stubborn when you're negotiating with a guy like that, but what do I know?
Yeah.
It looks like the FanDuel line had moved a little based on messages in the chat. So for official tracking purposes, we'll use the 145. It looks like is probably the best number out there. Okay. Or actually, I don't know what book is that at, Jason? The 160 would be amazing.
Yeah,
that's a great one. But I think we'll probably use the 145 for tracking just to try to be fair. And then Andre Sanchez is asking if this is supposed to be a fast-paced game. It is. This projects as, I think, the 3rd fastest-paced game of the week. I can double-check that. No, the fastest-paced game of the week, number 1. I think the first time all year that a game has projected faster than whatever game New Orleans is in. which is saying something because New Orleans plays so fast. So yeah, this game should see a lot of play volume in general.
Yeah, I mean, and you also have to hope for the fact that Bo Nix overthrows a bunch of receivers and kills a bunch of clock, and the Cowboys get more possessions.
That would be nice. I would
Would
take
be
that
very
for
nice.
Sure.
Yeah, man, Bo Nix, that's a guy who's really supposed to take the leap this year, and it's not looking great, but it's also sophomore slumps are normal and happen. Not an indictment for his entire career. Anyway, moving on to a prop that we had last week and promptly lost in all of one play as Bijan ripped off an 81-yard touchdown run. The fish in me doesn't want to take it, but the better in me knows that it is good, and I did take it. I slapped it in a couple of SGPs as well because we all need account health now and then. Bijan Robinson rushing yards. It is an astronomically high 95.5, and they're going up against a team in Miami that you will likely see a lot of running against. Are we scared here, Derek? What do we do? Talk me through it.
We're scared here. Yeah, we're scared here. This is one that, like you said, it does not feel good to take, but you take it because you know it has to be the sharp side. Like it has to be the sharp side because everyone wants to play running backs against Miami. Everyone loves Bijan Robinson. But when it comes down to it, we know that rushing defense is kind of noisy. It's only been 7 weeks. You know, the Miami rushing defense stats really don't actually mean anything. Maybe they are, bad, but are they this bad? Probably not. Bijan Robinson is really good. We know this, but we also know that when Atlanta plays with a big lead, which in this game against Miami, that seems like a pretty decent probability of happening, that Bijan loses about 10% off of his carry share, and they give it to Tyler Algier because later in the game they use Algier to grind the clock. So we're really hoping he doesn't just bust off a long run here. I'd almost rather bet the rushing attempts, but the market is like not as strong on that outside of like an outlier number or two, and I'd rather hit the one where, even though this 95.5 is kind of an outlier, the 90s are all really, really good too. So any of these numbers here are going to be fine. It doesn't feel good, but when it wins and your friends say to you, what did you bet this week? And you say, I bet Bijan Robinson under, you look like a genius. And if you look really dumb if it loses, but you're going to come out ahead more often than not on these bets.
Yeah, I think the last 3 weeks I've had it, and I've hit 2 of 3, and then last week was the one where he just ripped off that 80-yarder, and you were just like, well, we tried.
Yeah, if that happens, it happens. But if he doesn't rip off the long run, I really, really like this one.
Also, he's not a guy that rips off a lot of those. I think I saw something like he's only done that like twice or 3 times in his career.
I hadn't seen that, but that certainly makes you feel a little better about it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I might be making this up. I might have hallucinated it, but I could have sworn I saw something that was like that's his first touchdown of over 20 yards, like in the NFL. Could be totally wrong, but I digress.
Someone in the chat mentioned too, Taylor Holt. Just goes back to our previous conversation where if you look at who the low numbers are in the market, FanDuel and both of the exchanges are both under 90 yards. So if you are playing the quote unquote sharper, books are, they're on our side here, which, gives you a little extra confidence.
Yeah. And that definitely always feels a little bit nicer, and we like to see it. Yeah. All right. Also watch out for the Algier questionable tag, but Seth points out he can do a lot of damage as a pass catcher as well. Yeah, he could break one of those massive runs, but he got it off of a screen pass and it doesn't go against us. And we love to see that.
Yeah, that would be fine. And the Algier Q tag, a little bit worrisome. I'm expecting him to play. If he doesn't, then this is probably dead. I wouldn't say dead, but pretty close to dead. But I think Algier's going to play. It hasn't seemed like an actual issue that I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not particularly concerned about that at this point. All right, let's bring up our next game here. We are going to be going to the Packers versus the Steelers here. We're going to be looking at Emanuel Wilson a guy who many people thought was going to get work last week when Josh Jacobs was questionable, and then Josh Jacobs played and killed all of those. The good news is we're going under.
We are. So Emanuel Wilson, only available at FanDuel right now, but FanDuel pretty widely available, so I feel fine giving it out at just the one book. Under 24.5, you can see the blitz is about 8 yards under the implied projection here. Last week, Josh Jacobs, we didn't know if he was going to play. He came in, he played. He was a little bit limited, did give up some work to Emanuel Wilson. I'm projecting the same thing this week where Emanuel Wilson's projected for more work than he normally would get. I'm projecting Jacobs a little bit limited, and it still likes the under here. If I look at the blitz's projection for Emanuel Wilson compared to other projection systems, like the blitz is projecting more usage for him than a bunch of other systems are. And so that makes me feel fine here that, okay, we like this even with him getting some extra work. If Jacobs go in and just bell cows it out again, then this is just golden.
Yeah. Now we had it at 24.5, right? It's now down to 19.5.
Wow. So it moved quickly.
Yeah.
And for anyone who is seeing that now, I am out at that number.
Yeah. So watch out for that. That might be one that we have to scratch off the list. Because I think what Chad, I think what Chad is telling us is this was not our doing.
Okay. Got you. Okay. So then we will not count this one if it was not there when we talked about it.
Yeah. Reed wants to know, so we're taking the over now?
No, not going to be enough value on that. But that's a shame that it moved because this only has been open, I think, for like an hour or so. So I guess, people noticed it and hit it.
Yeah. All right. Unfortunate for us there, but we move on. We digress. We'll scratch that one off the list. Sorry, guys. Let's talk about Daniel Jones, though. Indiana Jones himself. And he's been running the football a little bit. We always knew that he was a mobile guy, but Colts are drawing up some designed runs for him too. And his carries total is only set at 4.5 here in what projects to be a very, very friendly game script for the Colts to, at the very least, be getting some kneel downs at the end.
Yeah, the kneel downs at the end here definitely help this. They're 2 touchdown favorites. So kneel downs would help. Like you said, Jones is a mobile guy to begin with. Early in the year, weren't drawing up a lot of design runs for him. Lately, they've been doing a little bit more. So if we're going to have the line basically a full carry under the projection and you're going to give us plus money on it, I'll take it because there's lots of ways he can get here.
Yeah, like we said, he runs the ball. He's going to be the quarterback in a game where the Colts are heavy favorites and could potentially be kneeling at the end of the game, which counts for us. And also, he runs the ball.
Yeah.
All things that definitely help us. And Richo is saying, can we get Jones 2 carries and 3 kneels again? Hey, it's worked. It's worked in the past. It can work again. And Bro points out he hit the over with kneel downs the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would be totally fine if that's how it hits this week. Might be a little sweaty. I prefer him just to get over it early, but the kneel downs are baked into this projection, part of why it's showing value.
Yeah. And that who was it that we hit? I think it was Jared. It wasn't Jared Goff. I don't know. There was somebody a couple weeks ago we hit on this, and it was the kneel downs that got us there. And hey, money's money. It cashes any which way. All right. Now let's move on to some passing yards here. We've got a passing yard prop, and then we get to everybody's favorite, the interception bouquet. But we are talking CJ Stroud here. Now, this offensive line for the Texans has been general booty. But they're going to probably have to throw a lot in this game against a now very banged up San Francisco defense. Now, Rob Saleh has had this unit, despite injury, playing really, really well. But 200 yards feels very, very doable for CJ Stroud here.
It does, yeah. So you can see FanDuel, it looks like ProfitX actually has a 198, but FanDuel 200.5. This is a market that I don't hit that often because I really want to see like big edges for it. There's a lot of variance in yardage, and it's just I prefer completions or attempts, as you guys know, more than yardage. But in this case, the yardage is showing a lot more value than the completions or the attempts are. And it is a big gap here. It's about 50 yards. So I will take it here on Stroud. I think this is an overreaction to the receivers being out. Nico Collins is going to be out. Christian Kirk is going to be out. But 200 yards for CJ Stroud in an offense that does like to pass the ball at home in the dome. He has, even though they aren't Nico Collins level talents, like he has okay receivers still. He has Dalton Schultz. He has the 2 rookies. They really like Xavier Hutchinson. Like it's not terrible here by losing those 2. So I think this is an overreaction, and I'll take the over on it.
I have a couple different plays in this game. Another one that I was looking at, it's not on our list here, but I took Jaylen Noel over 31.5 yards. And obviously with Kirk and Collins both out, feeling okay about that.
I took that one earlier too. I like that.
Yeah. All right. We have next up, we've got a couple interception props to get to here. And we are going to start off with the man, the myth, the legend, Dillon Gabriel. We're betting Dillon Gabriel not to throw a pick this week, Derek.
Whew. Yes, we are. All right. Dillon Gabriel, no interception at plus 120 at FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN, Bovada, widely available. That is going to be our number here. Same thing that we always talk about with these. It's not like I think Dillon Gabriel is some amazingly accurate quarterback or that he's definitely not going to throw a pick. It's just that you look at the projection, it's under half of an interception. And when you look at the distribution of interceptions, this is like a 45 or no other way, like a 55 to 60% winner that we're getting at plus 120. So I will take it. You know, we say it all the time. We'll take these coin flip-ish type ones. We'll take a whole bunch of them over the course of the year and we'll come out ahead. That's certainly been the case so far. As Tom said at the beginning of the show with our record, how good it's been. You just keep flipping that coin. And this is a coin that I want to flip.
Yep. I'm sure Bogler will have more, we'll have an update for us on that spreadsheet. Meanwhile, Jim Robinson saying Stroud, by the way, plus 128 to have more passing yards than Mac on FanDuel.
I don't dislike that. I'm curious. What is, let me see Mac's projection real quick.
Yeah.
So Stroud was like 250-ish, right? And Mac is projecting for 240. Yeah. So if you're getting plus odds on it, that looks like a really good bet.
Yeah. So there you go. That's another way to invest in some CJ Stroud numbers in this game. Plus, they've got Christian McCaffrey on that 49ers side. They are probably going to lean a little bit more into the run game.
Yes, definitely could be doing that.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's talk about the next one here. He's already been brought up, the Red Rifle. I can't believe how long this man has been in the league at this point. I was in high school when he was still he was already playing. This is nuts. Andy Dalton. I think the Browns have had the Bengals have had 2 franchise quarterbacks since then.
Yeah,
but we're going to Andy Dalton's interceptions under.
Yep, exact same thing. Best odds plus 120 at FanDuel and ESPN. Andy Dalton to not throw an interception. It is a very similar projection to Dillon Gabriel. All the logic is very similar. We just flip this coin too to increase our sample size on them. That's all it is.
Yeah, a 16-1 INT parlay that lost only on the golf interception. That's an incredible run of coin flips right there.
Yeah, it is.
I do every week again for account health. Very square, very dumb, but I go in and I make I pick one touchdown scorer from every game. And I'm terrified. I added the Monday night game, and you just know if you do that enough times, you're eventually going to be heading into Monday night with only that one to go, and you've got to sweat it all day. And that's just the worst thing to do. You should always have it end all in the same day, because when it's that last leg, that's a nightmare sweat. Nick says it was a 5. Damn. Only 5 legs? You go, I might start doing some interception parlays. That sounds like a good account builder that's actually plus EV.
Yeah, that one sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for that idea. All right. Here's one. We know he's a mobile threat after last week's performance. Joe Flacco. We're asking him to get into the end zone now, Derek.
Yes, we are. So we'll do a couple of touchdown props. Haven't hit on one yet. Although if you were using the blitz last week, a couple of its favorite long shots did hit. Kanata, Mumpfield for the Rams, Bellinger for the Giants. There's a few, every week it seems like there's a few guys like that popping up, and they've been hitting pretty nicely. So we'll try to, take our shots here and there on them. Joe Flacco plus 2,000, 20-1 at ESPN looks like a pretty good number right now. It is not one that I'm saying is going to win. I can actually tell you the exact probability the Blitz thinks. It is 11% to win, but at 20-1, an 11%, win rate is pretty massive value. So I will take it. Joe Flacco is obviously not mobile, but historically, this Cincinnati offense has been willing to give red zone carries to their quarterback. They've done it with Burrow. They've done it with Browning at times when he was the quarterback. They literally gave one to Flacco last week. So, if we get near the goal line and they give Flacco a QB sneak carry, I think at 20-1, there's enough of a shot of that happening where I'll take it.
Man, I mean, the funniest part is going to be if it hits and it just absolutely wrecks our unit count for the season.
Oh, that would be pretty great. I would not have a problem with that at all. And just Absolutely. So everyone knows, for tracking purposes, I am tracking touchdowns all at a quarter unit. So we wouldn't make 20 units on this, but it would still be a considerable win.
Yeah, would be a lot of fun. Last up for us here, our actual long shot touchdown scorer, which really doesn't feel that way given what we just talked about. Ja'Tavion Sanders. Derek, what team does Ja'Tavion Sanders play for?
He plays for the Carolina Panthers.
That explains why I did not know this, man.
Yeah, so Ja'Tavion Sanders plus 700 at ProfitX. We're going to take, but this 650, any of these around like 600 or so are going to be fine. JT Sanders is a guy that they use in the red zone. I mean, obviously the Carolina offense is bad, but they have Andy Dalton this week, which is nice. They've literally come out and said earlier in the year in the Coach Speak Discord, I think it was like week 2 or 3, they're like, there's 3 guys we're focused on in the end zone. It's Tet, it's Xavier Legette, and it's JT Sanders. Sanders is back from injury now, and I think they're giving us good odds on him. So I will take it in what is hopefully an improved Carolina offense. And if we're lucky, this isn't even in the projection. If we're lucky, they may even throw the ball more because it's Andy Dalton instead of Bryce Young. Last year, or the year before, whenever Dalton got some starts, they did do that.
Yeah.
Now with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, I don't know if they will, but it's an extra out for us that they throw the ball more and more chance of a touchdown that way.
Yeah, and we really can't be mad about that. Like, I think it's going to flip this game script. I kind of like Panthers plus the points this week.
I have not looked. What is the spread on them right now?
I want to say we're hanging 7.
Okay.
Let me check the odds logic screen here, and I'll be able to tell you for certain. Yeah, we're getting 7s. You got, if you can play a poly market, you're getting that 7.5. Novig's got 7.5. FanDuel's got a juiced 7.5. I don't hate it.
Blitz the Blitz doesn't hate it either. Here, I can I'll pull up the game sheet real quick so we can see. But yeah, the Blitz is on this with you. So
I might be grabbing some of that 7.5 at FanDuel at 120.
Yeah, so if it's the 7.5, the Blitz thinks it should be 4.5. So definitely some value here.
Ooh, big value. Actually, let me see if the 7.5 is better than 7 at. If this is going to work for me, this is great TV. 7.5, 120 or 7 minus 105. 7 minus 105, slightly better.
All right.
At the Lion. Might have to pump that in real quick. All right. Guys, you know the oh, wow. Bro KGB with the Vulcan mind meld here with me right now, Derek, because this is, of course, the conclusion of our pre-scheduled programming here. We are opening the floor up to you all and your questions, and Bro KGB is going to get us started. Then I'll go into the recap just because of how we're going here, because I was going to lead off with this exact prop. What do you think about Lamar over 5.5 rushing attempts here?
It's not one that I noticed this week, but it does look like there's a little bit of value on it if you can get it at a good number. I have a little bit of concern just coming back from the injury. Are they going to give him as many design runs? Is he going to scramble as much? So some concern here, but it looks like there is a little bit of value.
Yeah, it's one that I definitely played earlier. Again, you've got the injury concern, but the man likes to scramble even when they don't have designed runs for him in the play sheet, and I still think that they're going to call some of those. And this Chicago team has been pretty interesting. All right, let us recap real quick. Was the last one Warren? No, it was not Warren. It was Jatavion Sanders, who is apparently 30-1 at DK. That's got to be first touchdown that you're looking at there.
That's got to be for 2 touchdowns, right? Like there's no. Wow. Yeah, definitely let it. Oh, first quarter. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There we go. That makes more sense.
I was going to say.
That would have been nuts.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, I'm going to give us our recap here. You guys know the drill. Drop your plays in the chat. Let's start talking about everything that you guys have to talk about. But first, here's your recap. We got Daniel Jones over 4.5 carries. That's part 2. We got Christian Watson under 1.5 receptions at even money. Best odds at BetMGM. Dalton Kincaid under 3.5 receptions plus 135. Your best odds at Hard Rock. Rico Dowdle under 1.5 receptions plus 150 at 365. George Pickens over 4.5 receptions. This is one where we're playing the alt market here. A lot of places have it at the plus 3.5. But if you can find a 4.5, I know that we were talking about one book, Fanatics having them at plus 140. Shop around, see if you can find a nice alt price. We've got 158 here from FanDuel, but that might be gone by now. Bijan Robinson under 95.5 rushing yards. We're holding our nose and playing that one at BetMGM. Emanuel Wilson, we have scratched from our lineup as that line had moved down to 19.5, so we'll take that one off. And we'll move on to Daniel Jones over 4.5 carries plus 120. Best odds at Bet365. CJ Stroud, 200 yards passing, minus 114 at the FanDuel. Dylan Gabriel under half an interception plus 120. Andy Dalton under half an interception also plus 120. And then we've got the Joe Flacco Tutty 20-1 at ESPN, and Jatavion Sanders rounds us off with a touchdown 7-1 available at ProfitX. Shop around for the best lines, people. You know the drill. All right, let's bring it in and talk about some of your plays here, because we've got What's the Mata saying Warren under rushing attempts here. I don't know about this one. I know that Kenneth Gainwell receptions popped for us on the sheets, but Warren has been getting the groundwork.
Yeah, he has. You can see the blitz is pretty much in line with the market on this, about 14.5 or 15.5, depending on the book. The blitz is right there at about 15. So not a lot of value on this. It is going to be a slow paced game. So maybe less volume overall, but Warren has just been getting a bunch of volume. And it feels like he's almost underrated in certain circles because, he's Jaylen Warren. But he's been good this year. I have him on one of my fantasy teams, and I have been very happy.
Yeah, I have him in my dynasty league, and I'm glad I didn't get rid of him there. But I also, who I drafted in the 4th round of my dynasty this year? Aronde Gadsden, because I like my Syracuse guys. Yeah, that was a clutch.
I'm feeling good about that one right now.
Yup, man. I knew he was going to be good from the minute. That's one that I could call from a mile away because I watched that man in college. He was so good. Matt Budzinski, now we've talked about Jaylen Warren for you. Taylor Holt, Cam Ward passing yards. Little bit of value on completions and attempts. Let's take a look. I mean, you might be able to get, if you've got a little value there, you might be able to get a little more value on the passing yards just because of the volatility of it.
Yep, let's take a look. So so there is a little bit of value on Cam Ward passing yards. That's who we're talking about, right? Yeah. You see about a 20-yard gap between the blitz and the implied projection. It's really gross. I mean, like really gross. The Titans are so bad. Calvin Ridley is out this week, but they're 14-point underdogs. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're indoors in a dome in Indy, so that should hopefully make him a little bit more effective. You have to hope that the game doesn't get so far out of hand that they bench him, like they just take him out because. But yeah, I don't hate this one.
Yeah, me neither. I think this is one that I might already be on. I'd have to go and consult my GRP notebook, but I might have picked this up already. How about what's the motto? Rashad White under rushing attempts. Could this finally be the week where they free my boy Sean Tucker?
They did say there was a quote in the Coach Speak Index Discord about getting Tucker some extra work this week. I'll believe it when I see it, but you never know. Right now, though, it doesn't look like there's too much value here. The blitz is projecting about a carry under the line, but when you factor in the juice, it's pretty minimal value.
Let's just for kicks look at the Sean Tucker props.
Let's see.
Maybe that's the way to play this instead.
So nothing for attempts. It looks like a little bit of value on the under on his yards. So I don't know. Just in general, I guess.
Yeah. Shout out to my fellow Syracuse running back, LaQuint Allen, who is definitely better than Bashal Tutin and should be getting more work outside of Travis Etienne on the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is my piece. By the way, real quick, guys, before we continue on, want to make a quick public service announcement. Next week's show, mark your calendars. It's Halloween. We're going to be going an hour earlier. We're going to be going at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Watch out for that. Only 1 week only, slight difference. Want to make sure before people maybe start heading out here from the chat. So be aware, next week's show, 1 hour early. Thank you very much for your attention in this matter. Back to business. Andre Sanchez, he's not talking about the World Series. He's talking about the Jays in Houston. Jaylen Noel, 3.5 receptions at plus 130 at Bet365, and Jay Higgins plus 3.5. 3.5 is plus 125 at Bet365.
Yep. So Jaylen Noel over. It looks like actually FanDuel has 142 maybe. I know the blitz likes him this week. Obviously, we know it likes this offense in general. We bet Stroud's over yards. With Kirk out, we saw Noel last week kind of step into the slot, get a good amount of run, expecting the same thing this week. So yeah, this one looks good.
Like I said, I already have that Jaylen Noel yardage over.
I have the yardage over too.
Yeah, these are some investments worth making. Skipping ahead, Matt Panziski says the office is dead on Fridays. Put you on the picture, bro. Tweet at TV at work. I need to see this.
That's
Tweet
amazing.
A picture of this for me.
I want to see a picture.
Absolutely. Carty should go as Gino for Halloween on the show. I think that would be a very, very bad decision.
That would be kind of.
I don't think that would be a good idea. It might not be the most politically correct time, but I think that still won't pass muster. All right. Jim Robinson wants to know, how about some Tyrod Taylor passing projections? Curious how they ended up so low. I mean, I don't think it's due to the QB uncertainty. I think it's due to the fact that you and I are playing wide receiver for the Jets this week.
No, he's talking about the projections being really low here. So you can see passing yards. He's projected for 77 passing yards. I would not fire on this yet. So this is, when I first projected this week, I projected Justin Fields to start and like a 20% chance that Tyrod comes in after Fields is benched. And they've given us like no clarity on it yet. So I haven't actually changed it. If there are markets out on Tyrod right now, though, then maybe I'll switch it up and I'll make Tyrod the starting quarterback. But don't bet this, because this is not based on him starting. This is a projection based on him coming in later in the game, which is not a thing that we're betting on.
I think I'm pretty sure he is going to be starting this week. It seems to sound like that is the way the tea leaves are going from the Jets beat reporters out there.
Yeah, so, I wasn't sure with the injury too, if he'd be healthy enough to go, if that would impact things at all. So
what I heard about the injury is it's something that's existed already and it hasn't impacted him so far. Like everything sounds like it is going to be full steam ahead for him.
Okay, so I'll probably make that change after the show then.
Cool. Kenneth Gainwell, over 2.5 receptions. Yep, this is one we mentioned briefly. I'm already on this one. How about you, Derek?
Let's take a look. Gainwell. Yep, if you can get it, it looks like anywhere even money or better, which is going to be most books. FanDuel even 216. Looks good to me. Gainwell has been extremely involved in the passing game. I don't think that's going away. They like Gainwell a lot. They've hyped him up since the start of the season. Yeah, I like this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took this one earlier. Brooke KGB wants to know any Philadelphia plays you'd have your eye on if AJ Brown. That's why I was trying to get Devonta Smith overs earlier, and I couldn't get any. This explains that.
AJ Brown hasn't practiced all week, so they said that he could still play without practicing, but we really have no idea right now whether he's going to play or not. So that would be why they're not being offered. Same as anything else, it's really just going to depend on where the line is set. Like I could tell you, okay, well, Devonta Smith overs could look really good, or Dallas Goedert overs could look really good, but it's just going to depend on where they set them. So we'll have to see when the time comes, I think.
Yeah. Andre's saying we need Carty on the show. Man, you know who I would love to get as a guest on this show? Derek Carr, because the amount of times I've almost tweeted at him when I'm trying to say that you and I are live, man, all the time. That is highly common.
That's funny.
Richo dude wants to know, what was the news where Minnesota at LA Chargers model had Minnesota fair odds at plus 120 all week, but the game jumped to plus 175 with the market? I mean, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. That's some interesting line movement there. Also, who is Minnesota's quarterback now? JJ McCarthy's coming back this week. I think we can comfortably say that after that Carson Wentz debacle.
Yeah, it sounds like McCarthy's coming back next week.
Yeah. Tyrod was talking this week about how Flacco was his mentor. Flacco really is old as hell. Man, Flacco's been
awesome. I would love to see Tyrod Taylor in the league for another 10 years.
Seriously. I remember Flacco and Matt Ryan came into the league the same year, and they both went crazy as rookies. They both made the playoffs, and it looked for a sec like there was a hot second there where we almost got an Atlanta versus Baltimore Super Bowl with dueling rookie quarterbacks. Like it was very much on the table.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Those rookie years for both of those guys were good. And it really does speak volumes to how good that generation of quarterbacks was, that those guys were that good. And we kind of see them as average guys now. Like you drop Phillip Rivers into any other era, he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I don't personally think he's even a Hall of Famer because he put up numbers that look pedestrian for that era in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Gainwell up to plus 125 at ESPN. You don't see that every day, a number moving against us.
Yeah, or maybe was ESPN not on the screen? Was that just a different line that's out there? I don't know.
Could be.
But yeah, that's a great number if you can get that.
Yeah. Taylor Holt wants to know, Blitz has been low on Bill Krosky merit all season. This week it's showing value on overs. Do we like these overs? What is up with the Krosky merit here?
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was tempted to take some. We'll look at his rushing attempts because I know it like that a little bit. Yeah, FanDuel 10.5, a little bit of juice for it, but these look solid. I think what this really comes down to is just that like they're facing KC and they're not going to be able to run the ball that much playing from behind, but 10.5 is a low number. And as much as the Blitz wasn't buying into him earlier in the year, he has been seeing his workload go up kind of every week. And he's kind of at a point now where he is getting, a good portion of the work. They're not giving as much to Chris Rodriguez or Jeremy McNichols. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't bet this one myself, but it does look solid if you want to take it.
So I had a friend who last week fat fingered his Jeremy McNichols anytime touchdown bet, and his $75 bet turned into $750. He did not have a good week.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. And then Rodriguez got the goal line work, and he was just like, you got to be kidding me. But that was a painful one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. I feel like that's a point where you have to hit up customer service and just be like, please help. They'll say no, but you got to try.
Maybe they'll mark you as a square. Hey, this guy has no idea how to even place a bet properly.
Yeah.
Can't be
seriously. Man, some of the account health stuff, you look at it, it's always funny when you play something for account health and then you're like, oh, this might actually hit, and that would be very bad for me. But on the bright side, I mean, I'll be $500,000 richer if I correctly guessed a touchdown score in every NFL game this week. That would be fun.
That's true. I mean, you can't be too upset if you hit that. They're not going to think you're some kind of savant. You're just the guy that happened to do it.
Yeah, seriously. I have one friend, of course, 2 weeks ago, and I'm completely filling for time right now. So guys, please throw more questions in the chat if you've got anything, but I'm going to vamp it till then because we've got a few more minutes to hang out with y'all here. But I have a friend who knows nothing about sports, nothing about betting. Like I had to teach him how to draft his fantasy football team this year. And he was like, hey, I got a DraftKings account. Like, what should I bet? And I go, all right, I'll give you some stuff. And he goes, cool. Like, give me a same game parlay. I got a boost. And I'm like, all right, here you go. And I gave him, I just went in, took 4 plays from a Steelers game. It was not Steelers. It was 2 weeks ago. So it was whoever the Steelers played 2 weeks ago. And it was like the peak of that Darnell Washington, Pat Fryermuth unevenness. And I just had all 4 of those. He calls me up after the game and he goes, dude, tell me you followed that. And I was like, no, of course I didn't. And he goes, well, it hit. I put $150 on it. And I'm like, what? And he had like 100% boost from DraftKings. He made like $6,000.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I'm pretty mad about it. I was like, come on, throw me some of that.
So, I mean, yeah, a little bit for the tip. Come on.
Yeah. He boosted from 20 to 40 to 1. But at the same time, if they're giving you a 100% parlay boost and you're able to get $150 on it at DraftKings, it's probably telling you that they don't think you're going to be keeping that money for very long.
That is very true.
All right. This is a good one. Chase Brown rushing attempts here. He's been a disappointment all season. I mean, what do we even do with Chase Brown at this point?
There's not much you can do. You just hope for the best.
Yeah,
I have Chase Brown in one of my fantasy leagues because
same.
The Blitz loved Achane. It thought he was like a top, 5 pick or just something crazy. And he went 1 pick before me, and I wound up on Chase Brown instead. And I'm not too happy about that. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like the Blitz is right in line with the market on him.
Yeah.
It's a decent number against the Jets. You know, they could be playing from ahead actually for once, and we could see some Chase Brown rushing work finally, which for fantasy purposes, I like the matchup this week. I like Chase Brown. Looks like we're right in line with the betting market though.
Plus that Jets defense has been a lot better the last couple of weeks. Jermaine Johnson being back is a big deal for them, and it's shown.
Yeah.
And also the secondary's been playing better. But then again, no Sauce Gardner this week. So they might take to the air a little bit more. Rich wants to know, how do we feel about World Series futures? Dodgers -185 during Jays Mariners game 6. I mean, it basically is the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Blue Jays and the power of friendship. So I don't know if you're fading the power of friendship. That's on you, my man. Seth Vada wants to know, not a prop, but I like New Orleans +3 and Pitt money line at +140. Texas -1.5 is also enticing. Any thoughts on those matchups? I mean, I like you're getting the hook with the Saints. Pittsburgh feels like a coin flip, and I don't want any part of the Texans. Those are my off the cuff, from the hip thoughts on those.
Yeah, for me, I don't have a lot off the cuff.
Yeah.
Off the cuff from the hip, I'd have to kind of pull up projections. We can pull it up real quick and see. So New Orleans +3, Texans -1.5.
Oh, AJ Brown just got ruled out.
Yes, he did. So yeah, Texans. The Blitz actually thinks they should be more like a 5-point favorite. So that one looks good to me.
Yeah. Also, it is National Tight Ends Day this week, and it worked last year. And Gadsden got us off to a start on Thursday night. I don't know if we're fading him, man.
Yeah, right. All right. So what's our next one? Tez Johnson.
Yeah, we'll go to Tez Johnson first, and then we'll talk Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Dome, no Evans, no Godwin.
You'd think the over would be looking good, but it's another one where the Blitz is kind of just right in line with the market, unfortunately.
Yeah, it tells us the market is already pricing those injuries in. Jackson Dart touchdown +220 doesn't sound bad to me for a guy who we know runs the football and can get goal line carries.
It's true. It does look like that's right about what it should be according to projection, though.
Yeah. Okay. do we think that lines will be posted already to the point where we can look at some Dallas Goedert or Devonta Smith numbers?
I think we probably need to give it a few more minutes before there's numbers posted. And I would need to run a projection update anyway before projections are usable for it.
Mm-hmm. I trust no man in this world more than two-tone shirt Derek Carty.
I appreciate it.
Always ever fashionable. We got Goddard 44.5 at FanDuel.
I mean, I can look real quick at if we had a projection on him before.
Just scoop Giants plus 330. I don't know if A.J. Brown really makes that much of a difference to the line, but then again, this Eagles team is so weird. I could totally see the Giants winning this game.
Yeah. So that 44.5, I do expect to start going up. That's about what the Blitz had with A.J. Brown playing. So, I mean, if that's still there, you could probably take that because Goddard's projection will go up.
Yep.
And I imagine that line's going to start going up like right about now.
Yeah. All right. Yep. I mean, that's probably something worth getting. I just realized that my account health parlay might have some closing line value because I'm pretty sure I took Goddard as my touchdown scorer in the Eagles game. So that's fun. All right. I think that is going to do it for us here on the show. Unless anybody else has any last requests, any last questions. I'm glad we got that A.J. Brown injury news in, even though we're not quite ready to talk lines, as those are going to start moving around and we'll have to see where the market settles on that Eagles game. But thank you guys so much. As always, it has been a pleasure to be here with you all, as every week we do. Derek, looking forward to another winning week here. Let's knock on wood. Let's have a great one. Guys, again, want to thank you all so much for being in the chat, for sending us your plays, for watching the show. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button if you're not already following the channel. Of course, don't forget about End Zone Live on Sundays, and we've also got Last Call Saturday and Sunday morning, so you can talk and get some more bets in with the whole Wager Talk crew every day before the football games begin. And then End Zone Live will be sweating out bets through that first round of NFL games, the early slate there for you. Don't forget, next week, we're going to go an hour earlier on this show here. We'll be live at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Halloween. No promises if we'll be in costume or not, but we appreciate you being here with us as always. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week, and let's cash some tickets. Good luck, everybody.